Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. I had been on a business trip for a few days, which usually happened about once a month, and typically I would be away from home for about a week. But this time, I started to feel a bit homesick and missed my wife terribly. So instead of spending another night in the hotel, I decided to head home. At around 3 in the morning, I arrived home, left my suitcases in the kitchen, and quietly walked down the hallway to our bedroom. As expected, Joanna was sound asleep. Knowing that if I tried to slip into bed I would wake her up, I decided to go to the guest room instead. Truth be told, I was too exhausted for anything else, and fell asleep almost immediately. When I woke up, the delightful aroma of coffee and bacon filled the air. After taking a shower, I headed to the kitchen where Joanna was busy. "Hey, honey," I greeted her. She almost jumped in surprise. "When did you get back?" she asked. "Around 3 in the morning," I replied. I felt hungry. After I sat down at the table, she made some scrambled eggs and reheated the bacon that was already prepared. Bacon for breakfast had always been my favorite, but then she seemed a bit flustered. "Why did you sleep in the guest room?" she asked. "I didn't want to disturb you. I really needed a good night's sleep," I replied, and it seemed like a reasonable explanation. "By the way, when did you ask him to leave this morning?" Her head dropped and she seemed at a loss for words. Did she really think I hadn't noticed the man in her bed when I came home? Seeing him there surprised me, but I figured she assumed I would stick to my usual routine and return only later in the day. "Right away, as soon as I realized you were home. Darling, I'm so sorry. I just had a bit to drink, and tonight I need to go to the city to finalize a few contracts and take care of some things. We'll discuss this later." "Honey, maybe we should hurry. See you soon, Joanna." I went to the city, stopped by the office to drop off some documents, and received some praise from the management. They were surprised to see me so soon and didn't mind my early departure. After finishing up my errands, I headed home, where a visibly anxious Joanna was waiting for me. "Can we talk now? The lawn needs to be mowed and there are some weeds to pull out. I assure you we'll talk soon, but first I need to take care of a few things." I went to the garage, started the lawnmower, and spent the next couple of hours cutting the grass. After that, I pulled out some weeds, annoying plants. In the evening, when I returned to the guest room, Joanna begged me to sleep with her in our bed. "I'm not sleeping in that bed anymore, but I appreciate you changing the sheets." The guest room only had a single bed, and there was no space for her, so reluctantly, she returned to her own room for the night. The next morning, Joanna made breakfast again, and as I had done every day for the past 39 years, I kissed her goodbye. She warmly received the kiss. That day was typical. I handled incoming orders from clients and dealt with the office drama that had unfolded while I was away. But this time, nothing particularly remarkable happened. Over dinner that evening, Joanna grew concerned again and finally expressed her feelings. "Darling, we really need to talk about what happened. I'm worried that you're avoiding the topic." I reassured her, "Joanna, we'll talk soon. I swear. Now's not the time, okay? Trust me." I headed to the guest room, and she casually mentioned that a new bed had already been ordered and would be delivered in 2 days. In response, I just smiled and walked into my room. The next morning, which was a Saturday, Joanna fully immersed herself in breakfast, preparing a more elaborate feast than usual. The morning calm was suddenly interrupted by a knock on the door. Joanna opened the door, and I stood behind her. "Joanna Weston?" "Yes, that's me." "You've been served, miss." Opening the envelope, she found the divorce papers that I had filed just the day before, and her expression turned to shock as she turned to look at me. "Now let's talk, Joanna. According to our prenuptial agreement, you must leave this house with what you brought into our marriage, and you must do this today. I'll be back in the evening and you shouldn't be here. Goodbye. I regret wasting my life on you. You're not worthy of my love." This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.